There we go. All right, I'm back now. Let me get some people some time to come back up into the room. Give some people enough time to come back up into the room. But I told y'all, man, whenever you do information, when you're trying to really bring informative information to the people, oh, they gonna come after you. They gonna definitely come after hit you with the copyrights and all that kind of stuff. So I had to take that one down. I didn't even know that they actually took the video down. So I had to take that one down and erase it so I don't get no strikes or whatever. But it's important that you guys we give visuals of things that actually yeah, they probably gonna mess with the numbers down. They'll make sure nobody get the notifications that go out now. That's how they do. Just remember out there, man. Black dysfunction is profitable. Black dysfunction is very profitable. So we had two people. We went down to one person. Let me see. I'm gonna wait a couple minutes. I'm gonna see so if people get the notifications to come back up into the room. Back up some from the screen. Hold on a second. Bring my microphone up. See, people come up and if people get the that we hear. See where everybody at. I got about another hour. So I want to really hone in on what it is that I'm saying. Oh, people must not be getting the signal that we live, I guess. So it hasn't moved. All right, but let me just start talking. Hopefully people come back up in the room. You know how they do. Especially when you're an actual black man and you promote black family, you have higher standards for the black community. You don't just promote it, you show it. You don't just talk it, you live it. The algorithms is not set in place to actually promote black men, actual black men promoting black families. That's not what the algorithm has ever been set in place for, or even the algorithms that they put on your mind. The black man is supposed to be selfish, pro-individual, and out of control, or under control. He's not supposed to be an independent thinker because the black man is protection, direction, and correction. So when we start talking about black family first, holding your children down, they're not going to promote that. They're not going to promote that. So when I titled this, most black Americans are anti-reparations, I'm saying you're anti-reparations based off of your actions. You are enemy to your message. You are enemy to that what you speak about. You don't live up to to those standards. You talk about reparations and FBA and a lineage, but also FBA is a lifestyle that should be a practice that should force the other groups that you speak about to meet the demands of that what it is that you want. And if you are not living up to those standards, then you're anti what you talk about. We're not using social media to promote Black family first. That's not what social media is used for, family. We're not using social media to promote the FBA political ideology based off of our experience in this country as a people. We're going back and forth with immigrants. But this conversation that I'm having today, this afternoon, is not about immigrants. The immigrants are irrelevant in this conversation. This conversation is about Black Americans and what go on in our communities. I live in one of the blackest cities in America, Philadelphia. And when I walk the streets of Philadelphia, I don't see Black men and women walking around in suits, gentrifying the communities, getting the loans from the banks nowadays with all the people in power we got to actually create generational wealth for Black Americans. We don't mind screaming about racism and white supremacy and all of those things and whatnot. But the very things that it would take in order for foundational Black Americans to become a thing, that's not a practice. Now, I'm going to tell you guys something, right? Something that I learned. When I first came into knowledge of self and consciousness, I really believed that Black people was honest. Black people was sick and tired of being sick and tired. And Black people was ready to start being about it. But what I didn't know was there was 3 different types of Black communities. You had the elite Blacks, the upper middle class and middle class Blacks, and the poor Blacks. And none of them get along. All of them are thumbing their nose at each other. They sellouts. Look at those people. What the hell? Look at those people, right? Black people tune in because it's a provocative title. But one thing Black people don't want to hear is criticism. But I would have to ask Black people, how many Black people have you worked with in your community in the last 2 years? How many Black people have you co-op with to buy property or set up a business or deal with mental health or deal with anything? Or do you just get up and go to work every day for the system and don't do nothing that actually supports FBA or will support our reparations claim? Is your lifestyle predicated to working through the system, and nothing is dedicated to anything that will have anything to do with reparations? Because if it's not, then you are anti-reparations. Your actions is against that which you regurgitate. We got to put this, somebody got to put this out here, right? You know, wow. I was having a conversation with a brother that got a PhD. It's my brother. We come from the streets. He got shot years back. Got put in a wheelchair, changed his life, went back to school, got his doctorate degree, and all that kind of stuff. But we were having a conversation. Hold on a second. Anybody there? We were having a conversation, and in our conversation that we was having, he was so staunch and going in on the right-wing Republicans. They're racist, they're racist, they're racist. So anything in the conversations that I brought up about Joe Biden or about the liberals, he said, man, that's Fox News media stuff, man. You don't know what you're talking about. And I had to check him. I said, damn, bro, you talking to me as if I'm an idiot, as if I don't study or like, you know, who am I? That's how you talking to me? Shalom, Mark. So he was just going in, right? So when I brought up Strom Thurmond and Joe Biden's relationship to Strom Thurmond, he said, "Oh, people change." Just what he told me, right? Now I want y'all to stay with me because I'm going somewhere with this. He said, "Oh, people change." So he was willing to overlook all the inconsistencies that come with the Democratic Liberal Party. He was willing to overlook all of those things. But when it came to the right wing, he just called them racist, as if the Liberal Party don't have racism. So I brought up all the different drug bills that Joe Biden and Strom Thurmond wrote up. A lot of stuff he didn't even know. So I was like, brother, I was like, when are Black people going to start fighting for power and stop arguing about right wing or left wing? When are we going to get it in the huddle in the middle and talk about the things that we actually need for Black people? And then come out, break huddle, break, and go out and tell whichever group is willing to meet our demands, we'll give you our vote. When are we going to do that? Because I'm going to tell you something. A lot of this reparations talk, a lot of this hardcore pro-black talk, you can't go in your church talking like that. You can't go around your family talking like that. I don't want to hear that shit. A lot of this hardcore pro-black, black first, black fam, they don't want to hear that, man. It's so hardcore, right? That they've conditioned black people on the right wing and left wing that all you got to do is plead the blood of Jesus. Jay Sean, what's going on, beloved? All you got to do is plead the blood of Jesus. Wait a minute. Yep. All you got to do is plead the blood of Jesus and all is forgiven. And then we move on. This is what they've done to us, man. What is the black identity? Separate from nigger culture and white people. What is our identity? See, you say you want reparations. But most of you are enemy to your message. 90% of black women in America is pro-woman, not pro-family. Pro-woman. 90% of black men is pro-individual, not his brother. Black people are in a state of disarray. And everybody knows it, even black people. But black people don't like to be corrected or told anything about themselves. So when people see this provocative title, they come in and then they hear me talk. Oh, this nigga, who the hell does this nigga think he is? Man, this. See, the thing is, Jay Sean, I'm gonna keep it real with you, beloved. I ain't even talking about none of them other women today. I'm talking about right now. I'm in Philly, in Southwest Philly. I'm talking to my Brooklyn homies. I'm talking to my Atlanta homies, homegirls. I'm talking to Memphis, Orange Mound homies. I'm in the hood right now. I'm talking to black people. I ain't talking about none of that. I'm talking about what's going on with us. So my comments is based off of us. I don't care what other groups is doing because a lot of times we're emulating those other groups, the lower side. So what I'm speaking about right now is when you in Brooklyn and you look around in Brooklyn, or I'm in Philly and I'm looking around in Philly, most of our black men is pro-individual. Most of our black women is pro-woman. We talk this stuff, right? That's what I'm saying, Jay. I'm on the block right now. I'm in the hood talking to my people. Right now, you know what we did, Jay Sean? We went in the room and we shut the door. We ain't even talking to white folks right now. We talking about us. And when you hear conversations amongst black people, it automatically goes into I, me, what you going to do for me. Nobody's talking about black family. If you go on YouTube, there's very few black family channels that's supported by black people. You could be Cynthia G and talk shit about black men all day and then have a baby by a black man that got 1,000 kids and become a single mom and still have a following. You could be Obsidian that talk shit about black women all day. You can have all that, but to actually practice black family first, no. Even when, you know something, Jay? When I'm doing videos with my children, with the children, and I got the urban nerd stuff on, do you know that I'm reluctant, very reluctant to put urban nerds in the title? Because I know for a fact that I got almost 10,000 subs. Forget everybody else. I'm just talking about my subscribers. If I put urban nerds in the title, it won't even get 100 views. I've noticed anything damn near that's about the progressiveness of black people and the production and moving forward. Black people ain't supporting that. Hold on for a second. So when I talk about the reparations argument, it's the reason why I talk about the reparations argument. Because in order to get reparations, you have to be a champion to your message. Right. Right. Thank you, Jay. And we got a whole lot more coming. A whole lot more coming. We actually got some content we did 2 weeks ago and last weekend. We just didn't put it up yet. It's being edited. We got a whole lot more coming. And we got a whole lot more coming this winter. So we was just working on getting this coding camp and getting some stuff behind the scene, the politics of the stuff done. That's what we've been working on now. That's why I've been meeting with city officials and stuff like that. But the actual, a lot of times you have people that's relationship gurus and they got a large following, man, on YouTube. Brothers like me and other brothers and sisters that's been married 19, 20 years, we done stuck it out for better or for worse, to death do us part. We actually keep our vows up. We made our vows to God. I made my vows to God that I will protect this woman, sacrifice with this woman for better or for worse, through sickness and in health. My vows. I stand by the vows. Black people don't support that shit. You know why black people don't support it, Jay Sean? Because when you come over here and I'm talking this way, that means that you have to clean up something. That means that it's going to take work. You have to do some work. You can't just be regurgitating stuff that you hear me say. You got to actually show and prove. You got to do some work. You got to be black family first. The most revolutionary act that a black man and woman can do is to be in the family. Is to be the opposite of what they tried to make you not to be. You have to be the opposite. You have to be the opposite. You have to come out and say, hey, we're going to make babies and we're going to be in a family together. We're going to build together. We're going to work together. Your plan ain't going to work. If not, then you are anti-reparations. You're judged on your presentation and your lifestyle, not the shit that you regurgitate. This is what you're judged by. I understand the Jason Blacks and the Tariq Nasheeds, but they got to love you enough to tell you the truth. I mean, we can go in on immigrant tethers all day. Okay, I understand. But if you ain't loving the people of your following enough to tell them that if you ain't willing to live this, then you are enemy to your message. You're anti-reparations. If you ain't willing to tell them that, then you don't love the people. You're not for the people. Because the only way to change is going to have to be a physical and psychological change. There has to be a 360-degree turn from the direction in which we're going in. There has to be a turn. There has to be a shift. Yeah, Jay, we got we picking the dates for November. Me, my foundation, and 3 other foundations, black men. I was trying to take 40 kids of my kids down to the African American Smithsonian Museum again. We trying to take 120 kids now. 3 bus loads. So 4 foundations, all black men from West and Southwest Philly. We're gonna all come together and we're gonna take the children down now. That's what we're attempting to do. I'm gonna go regardless, but I'm pulling other brothers in. And we have to have a working model of what it would take to get reparations. Because lobbying to Congress don't work. There has to be a lifestyle that forces their hand. This is America. This is capitalism. This is free enterprise. What leverage do you have? What leverage do you have? I see a lot of people cashing in based off of talking points, but it's not translated into actual things getting done. So what you have online is governors fighting to take our history out of school because they said it teaches hate. You have, matter of fact, let me check this out because they took it down they took the video down. Let me make sure that I can actually play that. Hold on. Oh shit, hold up, y'all. Where's that John at? Hold on. All right, wait a minute. Let me do this real quick. Peace to everybody coming back in the building. Everybody getting back in the building. Let me do this. All right, yeah, let me pause that. All right, yeah. Yeah. But see, the thing is though, with it's how we spend our money. But we're not using social media as a campaign to awaken our people. We're using social media to talk all kinds of crap. And I'm gonna tell you, Big Dog OG, my motto is don't tell me, show me. Don't talk to me about nothing if you can't show me a working model of it. I don't give a damn what it is. Show me either a scientific method working model, or show me an actual the physical working model of that what you're doing. Don't talk to me about relationships and a relationship guru if you can't show me that you actually successfully been in one. Successfully. I can do it. Don't talk to me about that. Don't talk to me about real estate and stuff like that if you ain't showed me that you can successfully legally become a millionaire doing it within your own communities. Don't talk to me about reparations unless you showed me that you can garner 1 million registered signatures and voters on our own voting block to get power. Don't talk to me about none of that, because we've been led to the slaughter because we've been walking around like sheep for too long. Now they want to take the history out of the schools. They say that our history teaches hate. Our history teaches hate. This is what they're saying. A lot of y'all are fans of people, but you don't actually demand that they do anything. And those same people don't put the demands on you to do anything. Those same people don't put the demands on you to self-improve. There has to be a cultural shift. Look, you got black people for reparations, black people against reparations, black people that are indifferent. And because of that, you have black people that's not on the same accord, right? A lot of black people. Yes. Hold on, let me highlight that. There you go, Jay Sean. It has to be a sustained political movement. And in order for it to be a sustained political movement, it has to be a consciousness that's beginning to permeate and move through the minds of our people. It has to be taught online, in the music. Remember back in the day when they said it was a black thing? You wouldn't understand. We had the red, black, and green medallions. We had the It's the Black Thing shirt. We was moving in that way. We was protesting in the street. The Free Mandela. It was all the young rappers was rapping about it. If you ain't got reparations in the movements of the young people, you ain't got nothing. Nothing. I'm telling you now. Because this is what they're attempting to do. Let me share my screen, because I don't have that long. I got about 45 minutes.
Above and beyond what they were able to do there in terms of legislation and investment and resources and dollars. We've taken our teachers from being the lowest paid in the country to top 5 overnight, and we are going to continue to invest in places that we know are proven and evidence-based solutions to really help our students be successful. We want to make sure that every single student in Arkansas has access to a quality education, and the Arkansas Learns legislation is a great start, and I think we'll see see results even after this first school year.
There's a little bit of controversy right now. There's an accusation that the Arkansas Education Department removed credit for controversial AP African American Studies course. Let me just read to you what the NAACP said and let you respond. They said the Arkansas State Conference of the NAACP is appalled at the recent decision of Arkansas Department of Education to make a hasteful decision at the final hour to do away with AP African American Studies. Is that really what happened there?
Absolutely not. And one of the things that we have talked about so much, and Dana, I think the point that you made a minute ago about the staggering numbers that we're seeing across this country, we've got to get back to the basics of teaching math, of teaching reading, writing, and American history. And we cannot perpetuate a lie to our students and push this propaganda leftist agenda, teaching our kids to hate America and hate one another. It's one of the reasons that we put into law banning things like indoctrination and CRT. We want our kids to receive a quality education, and we want to make sure that every student has access to it and a pathway to prosperity. And that's exactly what we're doing here in the state of Arkansas.
The last thing is that there's a judge hearing arguments on something that's that you're taking.
Let me pause it there. See, this is what your open enemy is doing against you. While you online turned up, while you online committing verbal genocide on each other, while you online going crazy and all this stuff on each other, they're sitting in the cut. Right? Hold on. They're sitting in the cut. And what she just told you was, so y'all, we got to learn how to listen. They don't care about you getting the history. They don't want their children learning this history that whites did to blacks in America, because they know that the world is wide open now, way more than it's ever been. And black and white kids are together. They're sleeping with each other, having babies. They're integrated with each other way more. During the time when they was doing that, we weren't integrated with whites. There was a consciousness about the way who we were as a people. Now, black dudes is knocking white women down like it's nothing, and vice versa. You're integrated. So now when you start teaching young children the real history, that's why she used the term, listen, y'all gotta listen, man. I've been teaching this for years. The algorithm knows who I am. Even on TikTok, they're not gonna let me get a 5-1 at all. Listen, because I listen well.
Absolutely not. And one of the things that we have talked about so much, and Dana, I think the way a lie to our students and push this propaganda leftist agenda, teaching our kids to hate America and hate one another. It's one.
When she says teaching our kids to hate America, hate one another, she's talking about white kids. The rebellion against the fathers, the rebellion for the sins, rebellion for their sins against humanity. They're rebelling. They're going to rebel. They don't want them to know their history. So what do? You suppress real American history. Real American history is what you did to us. They want to suppress the history. They want to do it right in front of your face. This is a governor, man, of Arkansas. Remember, she was the spokesman for Trump? Yes. This is more about programming their children and immigrants to more. Right. There you see, Jay Sean, you get it right away. You get it right away, Jay Sean. You get it. Because I could tell you know how to listen to words. You got what she was saying. It had nothing to do with us. This is about them and their fear of their children learning this history and saying, I don't want to be a part of none of that. I like my friend Tyrone. Their daughters running around getting piped out by black dudes.
One of the reasons that we put into law banning things like indoctrination and CRT. We want our kids to receive a quality education, and we want to make sure that every student has access to it and a pathway to prosperity. And that's exactly what we're doing here in the state of Arkansas.
The last thing is that there's a judge hearing arguments on something that you're taking initiative on, and that is children and social media. And a judge has looked at this.
Let me pause this. Let's go over to here. Let's go over to Tim Scott. Now I want y'all to pay attention, right? Pay attention, because this is a white woman. And she's questioning him, right? Because she knows the truth. And she sees him for who he is, to the point where she's just laughing at him. Because she knows the grift. She knows what's going on. But this is the state of Black America and why we're looked at as a joke. Look, watch this, y'all.
Laura.
Greetings.
Yes,
Thank
ma'am.
you for taking so many of the questions that the Granite Staters have for you.
Absolutely.
If I understand your words correctly, you do not believe that there is systemic racism in America.
Correct.
So I should check with you first
Yes.
on that.
I
Okay.
do not believe America is a racist country. I don't. I can expound, but it sounds like you have a question.
I do.
Okay.
He's
I'll wait.
And maybe I want to know a little bit about your distinction between systemic racism versus national racism.
Okay.
So that's A or B or whatever it is.
My question would be, how can America not be systemically racist, but there's racism in America? What created the racism in America? There has to be systems set in place, because we was fighting against the system. But see, people got to learn how to listen and listen to the hypocrisy and call them out on it, right? Because he's double talking. But watch the white woman.
So how does that intersect your belief with the rise in Asian hate crimes, the rise in white supremacy activities, and on a very personal and painful part for my own family, the rise in anti-Semitic attacks and the waving of Nazi flags?
Yeah. So thank you, Laura, for the question. I would simply say that America is not a racist country, period. I don't apologize for that conclusion. When asked the same question, my friends on the other side of the aisle who are running the country, kind of, sort of, came to the same conclusion. I'd say this, though, really important question.
Look how she.
Is there racism in America? Of course there is. Are the systems of our country racist? I don't think so. One of the things I did about 3 or 4 years ago.
Look at her face. Look at her face, Jay. This tells it all. Because see, this is the thing. I want y'all to understand something. When white people get into the huddle and they call a play, we ain't in the huddle. They know what's going on in that huddle. She's looking at him like he's a joke. Like, are you serious, dude? And she just said that she was a Jew. So she automatically understands what's going on. He's playing a game. He's doing what he's told to do. But this is a black man. And guess what, y'all? There's a lot of black people that agree with him. There's a lot. Please listen to me. Black people are all over this country. They don't just live in the cities. Black people live in the states, all across the states with white people. And they echo these sentiments. They agree with him. I'm trying to tell you, man, we gotta stop thinking that the only black people that you know, the only black people is the black people that live on your block or the people that you know. And that's the way all black people think. No, man, no. The little 501 Tariq Nasheed and them got online, there's way more black people that believe in what this Tim Scott dude is talking about. A whole lot more. Let's play some more.
As I led the efforts to create legislation, I sponsored the legislation, the anti-Semitism legislation that focused on anti-Semitism and hate on college campuses. It's the same legislation that former president made into an executive order and invited me with a few hundred of my closest Jewish friends to come celebrate that legislation that I worked on really hard to get passed. And fortunately, we found another route for it to happen. But yeah, the rise in hate crimes in the nation is not indicative with the soul of America. We certainly have hot spots that we need to challenge. My sister-in-law, former sister-in-law, is Korean. My nephew is African-American Asian. And so focusing on some of the challenges that we see is the right thing to do. I think it's our responsibility as the American people, the American family, to stand up when we see it and speak out against it, not just when it affects you.
But see, Tim Scott, where does it come from? If it's not in the curriculums, if it's not systematic.
But when it affects any of us. And that's what I've tried to do with my legislation. I've done it with my words. I've done it with my social media accounts to stand up and speak out against it. But I don't think our nation is racist. I do think we have pockets that we have to fight, persistent pockets at times that we have to fight against and eliminate. I think we've done a really good job. I'll finish with this, Laura. I'm from South Carolina. Did y'all know that? Good. This is good. I was born and raised in Charleston,
He ready to use the bull
the
crap.
place where
Watch
the
this ain't gonna
Civil
work.
War started.
Listen, y'all.
I happen to be African American.
Look at them white
in case you
women.
forgot.
Look at you, them white people looking at him.
I think I'm funny sometimes, by the way. But here's what I'll tell you. In 2010, I ran for Congress against the son of the most popular governor in my lifetime, a guy named Carroll Campbell Jr. His son, namesake Carroll Campbell III, was one of my congressional opponents. He got in the race first. And then Strom Thurmond's son got in the race as well. And then here I come, a young kid from a single parent household, mired in poverty, in the place where the Civil War started, running in a Republican primary against two behemoths of South Carolina political power and history. And I won 68-32 in a head-on-head match. Why did that occur? I believe it's because of America's evolution that we judge people more on the content of their character than the color of their skin. We have work that still needs to be done, but can we pause long enough to see the remarkable arc of progress?
Now you see the double talking that he's doing. He's saying that the mere fact that he's saying that we have a lot of work, that we have work that still must be done, but he's talking about the remarkable progress. Why do we have to have progress in the first place if America wasn't a racist country? Why do we have to have it in the first place? Hold on. Let me move on to the next one because I don't have a lot of time. They cut my stream, so they messed up my time. Let's just go down the line, right? Now I want to show something. I'm gonna go down the line kind of quick.
Reparations for Black people. Do you support reparations for Black people?
Well, listen, again, we had over 200 years of slavery. We had Jim Crow for almost a century.
Who is we?
We had legalized discrimination and segregation, and now we have segregation and discrimination that is not legal but still exists and is a barrier to progress. We have disparities around housing. We have disparities around education. We have disparities around income.
Well,
and we have to recognize that everybody did not start out on an equal footing in this country. And in particular, Black people have not. And so we have got to recognize that and do something about that and give folks a lift up. That's why, for example, I'm proposing the LIFT Act.
The LIFT Act.
Give people who are making $100,000 or less as a family a tax credit, which will benefit and uplift 60% of Black families who are in poverty.
What? So by default, it affects Black families.
So by default,
not a particular policy for African Americans that you would explore.
But no, if you look at the reality of who will benefit from certain policies, when you take into account that they're not starting at.
See, let me say this, right? Let me say this. Because this is the conversation I had with a brother that I respect a lot. And a lot of Black people, matter of fact, let me unshare my screen for this because I want to look at y'all. Let me do this for a minute. I want y'all to check this out, right? This is important. This is important. What I'm about to say. Because I want everybody to really grasp and learn what I'm about to tell you. About 80% to 85% of Black people, your family members, your parents, your cousins, everybody, right? Everybody, right? Hold on for a second. Wait a minute. This is important what I'm about to say. So that way y'all can understand this going forward because you're not going to get this in a lot of places. About 80% of Black people, Black Americans, they don't see the world through a black first or pro-black lens. So when they see Ketanji Brown, she gets nominated to the Supreme Court justice but has a white husband, they cool with that. When they see Susan Rice gets nominated by Obama to secretary, she's secretary or something, advisor to the president, but has a white husband, they cool with that. When they see Kamala Harris, who is not of African American lineage, they don't see the difference. I had in a town hall meeting, I thought I was about to get kicked out. As a black man, 10 toes down, doing work, black people got real angry with me. Hold on. Black people, my own people, got real angry with me, Ayapo, because I said that this woman wasn't an African American woman. She don't represent us. I said that there's plenty of black people all over the world, but they don't share the sentiments or the struggle and the pain or the history of African American people. They're black in skin, brown in skin, but we're not the same people. Man, they was mad at me. And when you push this liberal talk, I'm telling you right now, the stuff that we talk about online and in the streets, you can't go to your house in the barbecue and talk like that. Your people don't want to hear that shit. They don't want to hear that shit. So what I'm trying to tell y'all is, how the hell are we pro reparations when most black people just believe because you black, you could just come run for office and be the spokesman for us? Simone Sanders and all these people, how are they spokesmen for black people? Obama wasn't the first black American president. No, he wasn't. Does that make me a bad guy? Does that mean that I'm putting Obama down? No. What I'm saying is Obama don't represent the black man from the soil. But the point that I'm making is most black people are not pro-black. They're not black first. They are black. They are Jesus first. And all you got to do is plead the blood of Christ. And all is forgiven. And they will forgive Strom Thurmond and Joe Biden before they forgive their crack-addicted uncle that stole the $40 out their pants while he was asleep. Yes, they will overlook all of Joe Biden's racist history. They will overlook the people, black people that you're putting in office that don't support reparations. They support everything that the FBA is against. They will overlook that. So when I'm telling you that most of the black community is anti-reparations, it's based off their thought process. Listen, this brother I was going back and forth with in this meeting until I got a chance to really speak and break it down. Until I got a chance to really speak and break it down. Hold on. Let me see. I got some of it on video. I'm going to pull it up for y'all. Where we at? Hold on. Let's pull it up. Let me share this screen. People don't be thinking I'm capping. We get our best, the best of our youth to reinvest back into our communities, where we can show a working model to black boys. It's the only way you're going to curb gun violence. This right here, this is Umar Johnson's father right here. Jamil, brother Jamil ain't no joke. This is the state representative right here. This is city councilman right here. Right. Wait a minute. That's him. And you're right. I think the quote of the day was you. Hold on, let me go. when I start speaking again. Is I guess the close. I'm glad everybody came out and took the time to come out. But we can go all night, you know, about a lot of us are traumatized. You know, we
Excuse me 1 second, please. Everybody, please stay and not leave yet because we still have.
This is my cousin right here. He did 33 years. He was a juvenile lifer. He just came home last year. That's my cousin. He killed a white lady in a robbery when he was 17. He did 33 years. Him and his friend went to rob a truck, and when the person that had owned the truck at the time they was going to rob wasn't there, and they went to run away. And when he went to run away, the lady shot him, and he shot back and shot the lady, and the lady died. But they wasn't even coming there for them. The lady saw them come in there, but they was young. This is over 30s. This is in the 80s. He did 33 years in prison. Come on, man. He did 33 years in prison. He just came home. So he's doing a lot of political work. I'm doing a lot of political work on the ground, trying to work with these city officials, you know, to get stuff done in the city. But check this out, right? So I'll say this, a lot of us are traumatized. You know, we have a lot of dead family members. We've seen a lot of different stuff, right? But the one thing that I say for you, because whether it was my dad's generation in the 70s, with the gang banging, the murder rate was high, the 80s, on my era, the 90s, my cousins, you know, all that stuff, we can tell stories about that all day. One thing that was said, and like I said, this is one of the blackest cities in the world. You know, we got black people in different positions. I'm not gonna say that all of our black leadership is wrong or everybody on the ground is doing everything right. But one thing that we got to do in 2023 with all the actual freedoms that we do got today, we got to start showing the young generation working models of positivity. The one thing that I noticed when I'm out there, why I created my organization, Urban Nerds, because I wanted to bring black intelligence back to the community. I wanted to make being smart cool again. Because one thing that I noticed with a lot of our young ones out in the street, they don't believe they can achieve some of the things that we talk about. Like I said, the greatest thing that I had to do was get some of our young men to believe that they wasn't niggas. So we started a series called Death to the Real Men. We weren't talking about killing nobody, we talking about killing that real nigga they mouth. They call it real niggas, bad bees. We had to change the mindset. So what we try to do is we change the way that they speak. You change the way that they speak, you change the way that they think, you change the outcomes. So I just wanted to pause it there. I wanted to show, you see, my cousin was telling me, wrap it up with the time, because what happens is when we get to places and we start talking about the things that we're supposed to talk about, you got to forgive everybody. You got to talk black and brown. You got to talk about trans, and you got to talk about all these different things, because they ain't cutting the checks for nothing else. So a lot of this stuff that we talk online, people ain't really going outside talking like that. I do, because I don't care. But I've noticed that if you start talking about black families, go to your barbecues and start talking to your own family about certain things, about not being with white women and white men and being just with black people. You're going to get pushback from your own people, man. But you talking this FBA reparations? No, you got to close ranks and close the door on things and be for your people. Man, we don't get it. A lot of our people don't get it, man. A lot of our people don't get it. But look. Let me go back here, because I got about 25 minutes left. No, she's not asking her hard questions. She's not going to ask her hard questions.
At the same place, and they're not starting on equal footing. It will directly benefit Black children, Black families, Black homeowners, because the disparities are so significant. So if we focus on the specific issues that have resulted in the greatest disparities, and we understand that that's part of why we're doing it. Listen, the reality also is this: any policy that will benefit Black people will benefit all of society. Let's be clear about that. Let's really be clear about that.
Okay, look, she doubling.
So I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit Black people.
But see, this is the thing. And see how bold she said that? She was able to say that because she, first of all, she knows she don't represent us. Number two, she knows she won't get our vote anyway. So all of this is aspect of anti-reparations. So Tariq Nasheed can talk all the stuff he want. The masses of Black people are anti-reparations. The masses of our people. Look, hold on.
A video that picks apart the argument for reparations. Listen.
I'm seeing a lot of talk about reparations on TikTok. It's 2021. How are we to determine who gets reparations and who doesn't? Reparations as the first step to healing? The first step to healing is forgiveness.
That video has been viewed over 100,000 times. And joining me now to discuss is the woman who posted it, Savannah Edwards. Savannah, thanks for being here. Why did you choose to make this video?
Why did I choose to make this video? It was kind of heartbreaking to me to see so many people think that in order for us to receive any kind of healing from the past, that we needed financial compensation from the government.
Okay.
So I just wanted to speak out on that.
One of the common refrains in support of reparations was articulated by one Tulsa pastor who writes, quote, "I think we cannot have true reconciliation and healing without reparations. Reparations are a biblical form of reconciliation and healing. I just hope that our elected officials have the courage to do what they know I feel is right." What's a better alternative to reparations in your estimation? Again, you're a follower of Christ. This pastor's a follower of Christ.
I think as a pastor, you're responsible for your flock, your congregation. Your job is to preach the word of God to them. And if you're not preaching that forgiveness is the first step to any kind of healing, you're leading your flock astray. So before we even talk about...
Now, this is what I'm trying to tell you. I told you all they got to do is plead the blood of Christ. Millions of Black people will talk that talk, right? But when it comes down to sitting in front of white folks and really talking that talk, they ain't going to do it. They're not going to do it. They're going to do exactly what she just did. And the white man know what he's doing. He's playing both sides. So they bring her up on here. And how can you forgive without there being any form of recompense, without any form of atonement? You recognizing what you did. And I'm saying, okay, I took this, and this from you. Let me give you, I'm sorry, and I stand before God, and I apologize before the Most High, and let me give you this to repair you. This is the stuff that goes on, man. I'm trying to tell you.
Forcing people who weren't even alive back then to pay for the sins of the dead, we need to start taking care of our own healing. And the first step to that is forgiveness.
In response to your TikTok, one TikTok user commented the following: "Why should I forgive them for the way they look down and continue to look down on my people?" Again, continuing with this concept of forgiveness. What's your response?
People are going to say all kinds of things about you. You can't control what other people do. You can't control what other people say. You can only control your response. The only person you have control over is you. No one else is responsible for your healing. You have to take those first steps. And as unfair as that may sound, that's just the truth.
Along these lines, you also have stated that you do not support critical race theory. Why?
I understand the intention behind critical race theory, the intent to want to teach our young people about racism and how it has affected our society. But I think what it does is it teaches white kids that they're inherently superior and they should feel bad about it. And it teaches young Black children that they're inherently disadvantaged. And I think the last thing the Black community needs right now is for children to grow up thinking they're disadvantaged. That just sets us all backwards.
See, this is the trick. They'll never have me up there. Because what I would have told them was, no, it doesn't teach white kids that they're superior. It teaches white kids the actual real truth and history of what happened. And it teaches Black kids to not fall for the same banana in the tailpipe that you fell for before. It teaches Black kids to understand who the true enemy was in that systemic systemic and institutional racism actually exists, and why you should honor your ancestors. What it does is it teaches you that A. Philip Randolph was somebody you should strive to be like instead of Little Dirk. It teaches you the great and mighty walk and the struggle that our people survived through, and why you shouldn't be supporting Sukiyana culture. That's what it teaches you. Your history is your compass to where you're going. And they know this. That's why they bring her on there, and they use the Bible and Christ and all these different things, man. They playing with your mind. But see, you can go here, all on social media, right? Hold on. Let me do this. All over social media, y'all. All over TikTok. You got videos with black women going in on black men, right? Going in on black men all over social media. Then you go over here, you got, oh shit, I didn't mean to do that. Hold on. Press the wrong button. You got black men going in, dissing black women. Now this is 90% of the young people is all on social media every day. And all you have is black men boldly, proudly being with white women and non-black women and saying black women ain't shit. You got black women saying black men ain't shit, all on social media. This is what we doing to each other. We committing verbal genocide on each other all day, right? While at the same time, is the gulf between black homeowners and whites is actually getting bigger and not smaller, right? This is from March of 2023, right? We own none of the property in the communities that we live in, right? Then we come over here. I'm just breezing through it now because, like I said, they messed up my last stream. This is black Republicans get scolded by Ron DeSantis, right? So let's check.
You actually sounds like a script from a bad Tubi movie. All right. So, of course, you guys have been hearing a lot about what's going on in the state of Florida in regards to the educational system, where the Board of Education decided that for the African American Studies curriculum, they will teach middle schoolers that slaves were actually able to leave the plantation with the skills that they acquired there and turn it into personal benefit. Then on the high school level, those students will learn that Black people, well, it was actually their fault for the copious amount of massacres that took place there in Florida. Well, we know that's ridiculous, right? And so Florida and Governor Ron DeSantis, they're getting a lot of backlash, and a lot of that backlash is actually coming from members of his own party who happen to be Black. And one of those people is Representative Wesley Hunt of Texas. And he said this: as the direct descendant of a slave, I have a hard time understanding Governor DeSantis's position that transferable skills learned in bondage are somehow a net benefit. And he also says, if Ron DeSantis spent more time doing the job the people of Florida elected him to do and less time on his failing presidential campaign, perhaps Florida's curriculum on slavery would more accurately reflect the pain and heartbreak experienced by millions who suffered through the original sin.
This is hypocrisy by this brother, Wesley, because most of them get up there and they talk about being anti-reparations. They talk about, they sit over there with white conservatives, but now as soon as something happened that they don't like, now they're jumping out and they're echoing all the sentiments that we've been saying. Now we're setting slavery as America's greatest sin. Why don't you walk in the door pushing that? But this is what I'm trying to tell you about Black people on so many different levels. But it gets better.
And then Senator Tim Scott, he says, there is no silver lining in slavery. Slavery was really about separating families about mutilating humans and even raping their wives. It was just devastating. Then lastly,
so wait a minute. Now you guys saw when I showed you. Matter of fact, let me do it better. Let's stay right there. Stay right there, y'all. Don't go nowhere. Let's go back over to Tim Scott. Remember Tim Scott was right here talking?
Is African American Asian. And so focusing on some of the challenges that we see is the right thing to do. I think it's our responsibility as the American people, the American family, to stand up when we see it and speak out against it, not just when it affects you. But I came to the same conclusion. I'd say this, though, really important question. Is there racism in America? Of course there is. Are the systems of our country racist? I don't think so. One of the things I did.
Now you see what he just said, right? So let's go back.
About separating families, about mutilating humans, and even raping their wives. It was just devastating. Then lastly, Representative John James of Michigan scolded DeSantis for responding to Donald's, and that happens to be Representative Byron Donalds, who actually kicked off the whole thing. He says, there are only 5 Black Republicans in Congress, and you're attacking 2 of them. My brother in Christ, if you find yourself in the deep hole, put the shovel down.
Did you see? Listen, look, that's what I'm trying to tell y'all. Please. Oh my God, man. Oh boy. Y'all see this right here? My brother in Christ. This is the majority of Black people, man. All they got to do is say that, and everybody fall right for it.
Well, Ron DeSantis fired back, and it was specifically to Tim Scott, and says, part of the reason our country has struggled is because DC Republicans all too often accept false narratives, accept lies that are perpetrated by the left, and to accept the lie that Kamala Harris has been perpetrating, even when that has been debunked. That's not the way you do it. And so he, along with some other Republicans, have been calling the Black Republicans Democrats. Ooh, right? That's supposed to be worse than anything you could call a Republican. Oh, now you're acting like a Democrat. And, you know, you're helping the Democrats and you're believing the liberals and, you know, not like it. And so called coons, sellouts, and Uncle Clarence. If you CRT, you know, the Black Republicans do not like it. And so somebody from Donald's team said this: if you condemn CRT and refuse to support BLM, Black Republicans are called coons, sellouts, and Uncle Clarence. If you vocalize.
Let me hold on for a second. Let me say this to you, K&A. That thought process is a thought process based off of trauma. It's not going to get you nowhere. You can run to non-Black women. You can run over to non-Black people. That's still not going to stop them from them viewing you as having a view of you. The best thing you can do is work with other Black people to build something. What you're doing is reinforcing stereotypes that whites have said about us. Matter of fact, let me show you something, K&A. Let me show you something. Black people. Let me show you this, my brother. Because we got to really, amen. Yeah, it's me. We got to really tighten up on certain stuff, man, because we be just, matter of fact, hold on, I ain't do it right. All right, let me share. We be regurgitating stuff, but we don't be knowing what we're saying. All right, so this is a quote from a racist white supremacist, the passing of the great race, Madison Grant. The intelligence and ability of a colored person are in pretty direct proportion to the amount of white blood he has. And most of the positions of leadership, influence, and prominence in the Negro race are held not by real Negroes, but by mulattoes, many of whom have very little Negro blood. So what I'm saying is, a lot of times when y'all come on here and y'all get to talking the way that you're talking, you don't even realize that you're reinforcing white supremacist stereotypes of what they said about you. They said that you wasn't intelligent enough to do. So when you start saying save yourself and this, what you're saying is the white man was right, but you're actually talking about yourself as well. We're not born with one less chromosome. We're very capable of doing the things we need to do. It's just that we're on the battlefield and we have to restore the minds of our people. Every group went through this. If you go into other countries around the world, in India and these places, they have the same issues in their countries of what they did to oppress people. So K&A, you can run to other groups, but to them, you're still a nigga. You're still a Negro. I don't care what you try to tell yourself. So there is no save yourself. I mean, the thing is, there's plenty of decent black people that we can work with to bring about the change that we actually desire. There's plenty of decent black people. We got to work with those black people. Stop reinforcing these racist stereotypes that these people put out here. Because this ain't me. This is what they say about you, K&A. And this is what you're saying about yourself right now and your people. So what you're doing is proving this white man right. So there's no comeback from that, because George didn't say this. I'm showing you what they say about us. And I've been telling y'all this for years. And that's not, hold on. I'll do that because that's another stream. Well, some of them, but see, this is the thing, Kay. That might be you. Some of our people might need to die off. That might be you. You might be one of those people, because you might be so far going in your thinking. What I'm saying is, you might be so far going in your thinking, you can't see the forest from the trees. Because a person like me 20 years ago, I was that person. Look at who I became. Look at me now. I had to restore my mind. But see, my thing is, some of those people need to die off. But see, the thing is, we don't know. We don't have no picture of you. We don't know nothing about you. You could just be talking. We don't know anything about you, K&A. You could be a fucking white dude. Nothing. But that's the problem with this online stuff. What's your work? Do you have a wife? Are you supporting children? Are you holding a family down? What do you do in your community? How many black people that are decent black people do you work with? We don't know nothing about you. We just know you. We just hear you talking. That's all I'm saying. It's too much of that. Don't tell me, show me. Don't come and tell me some black people need to die off. I can see some actual work that you actually do for our people. Then you shouldn't be talking like that. Show and prove. That's all I'm saying. I'm not even dissing you. What I'm saying is, you come to the table talking, you need to come with your resume. Because you have to prove to me that you actually love black people, or you support Madison Grant. And that goes for anybody. You have to show me that you actually love our people. That's all I'm saying. No diss to you, because I don't know you to diss you. I'm just putting that on the table. Because for all I know, you could be a great guy or a horrible guy. I don't know. That's all I'm saying. But we got black people. Look at this, man. Look. Oh, shoot. Hold on. God damn it. Why did those damn sound? Hold on. Let me go over to this one. Wait a minute.
I'm not playing now. And this is why I get so frustrated. Somebody's still talking. Come on.
I'm here because I love y'all. It's playing on my phone. It's playing. Something might be wrong with y'all joint because it's playing. For the end of my show, because we don't have, in the Black community, we don't have a lot of male discipline. And I go around and I speak like that to young people. We go into the prisons and I speak like that to the youth. And we need more of that. We need more Black men going back to talk to our children, because Black men is protection, direction, and correction. We need more of that. And it needs to become a thing. The problem is, if you really want reparations, then that needs to be the talking point on social media. We need to start having progressive talk for our children. Progressive, moving forward. There has to be talks of progression. If we ain't having talks of progression moving forward, then what are we really talking about? Everything that you talk about, your whole lifestyle is anti-reparations, but you're screaming you want reparations out your mouth. You are the full embodiment of anti-reparations and pro-individual. How many Black people are you working with? How many Black channels do you support that support Blackness, Black families, Black everything? You know, let's stay in the chat. Let's stay focused on what I'm talking about. Let's not get into arguments until a point where y'all lose the message on what I'm talking about. So whatever y'all got going on in there, let's cut that out. Let's just show some respect to the host. Let's cut all that out, because that's not what we on. What we on right now is what we should be on right now is to bring enlightenment to our people, to let them know that in order to be for reparations, you have to be pro reparations in your lifestyle. It has to be an everyday thing. You can't be an enemy to your message. You have to be pro family. You can't be pro individual. You have to be pro family. We can't be in here fighting and arguing amongst each other, because that's what the niggas do. That's why we say nerds over niggas. That's what the niggas do. You can't be in here getting at each other all day. That's what the real niggas and bad bitches do. We have to be separate from amongst. We have to be the example and the true testament of what change should be. We have to be, hold on. Hold up. Me and my son, right? We have to be the example. We have to set the trend. We have to set the new trends. We can't talk it. We have to be it. So if we in chats arguing like real niggas, then why would the young people want to change? Why are we incentivizing the young people to want to be different, to want to do stuff different? We have to be about our message. We have to be on the ground doing the stuff that we say we're going to do about community, right? So we say nerds over niggas because we separate. Hold on. All right. We separate ourselves from the riffraff. That's what we say. We say nerds over niggas. We promote Black family. That's what we promote. Family first. We promote me and Marvin, urban nerds with the kids. You got to be about being about it. Be revolutionary. Be in your children's lives. Be a father to your children. Stay with the woman you had the baby by. Be different. Be different. Be different. Be a dad, a grandfather, all that. And show and prove. Let people know that it's possible for it to be done. All of us ain't real niggas and bad bitches. We actually black people on the ground that care about people doing work. That's what we care about. Show and prove, man. Show and prove. So remember, I love my people more than they hate themselves, and I pray to the universal creator, Most High. Look how my numbers drop when I start showing the family shit, because it talks about self-improvement. We went from 35 to 26, because a lot of black people don't want to hear this shit, but that's fine. I only want to work with the ones that did. So stop arguing and fighting amongst each other. If they want to be coons, let them be coons. Let's deal with the black people that want to be decent, upstanding, productive black people. Deaf to the real nigga and bad bitch. So remember, I love my people more than they hate themselves, and I pray to the universal creator, Most High, that these words are enough to inspire you. These words are enough to make you look at yourself in the mirror and make change. These words are enough to make you look at your children and know you have to make change. I hope that when you came here for information, and when you leave here greater than what you was before you came. You leave here edified. I hope that you share this information on all the social media mechanisms that we use to get the message across. It's time that we have the conversation on the job, at the water cooler, laying having pillow talk with your wife. There has to be a line drawn in the sand. And if we're going to stand for righteousness for our people, then we have to be that which we're talking about. You can't be an enemy to your message. If you're going to say you want reparations, then you have to be the full embodiment and testament of that which you're speaking about. If you're not going to do that, then get out of the way. Get out of the way. Because we can't no more of the real niggas running the community. No more of the real niggas in suits being the spokesman for the community. At what point are we going to use these social media places to be the loudest people in the room? Huh? At what point? At what point are we going to be bold enough to stand 10 toes down on our conviction of righteousness and what we want? Or are we going to be lukewarm, tiptoeing through the tulips, quiet, and allowing the niggas to be the loudest in the room? You allow Sukihana coach and all of them overtake the decent black people, but then claim you want reparations. Nah, don't work that way. It don't work that way, family. When you going to start promoting decency? When you going to start putting a clean glass next to a dirty glass? When you going to be bold enough to stand against evil and wickedness, idolatry and wrongdoing, with the belief that the Most High will deliver you? When are you going to be bold enough to do it? Huh? When are you going to be bold enough to say, hey, I stand with this? That's why we say nerds over niggas. That's why we promote the family culture. That's why we stay in our children's lives and we marry the women we have babies by. That's what we do. That's what we do over here. It's called decency. It's called cleaning up. It's called waking up and cleaning up, because you want something better than the lies that's been given to you. The boxes that you've been told that you have to live in until you die. We're saying no more. That's what we're saying. No more. There's a metamorphosis. There's a change coming through. There's a new person being birthed. That old George from the block is dead. So when you see me, just know that I ain't the real nigga from the block no more. I'm resurrected. I'm pro-life. I'm pro my brother and sister. I'm pro-family. Don't tell me, show me. And if you ain't ready yet, then don't come around me unless you're willing to change. Yes. And reclaiming the throne is reclaiming your consciousness, letting the world know that you are not what they said you was. You are greater than your circumstances. So we change the way that we speak, so that way we can change the way that we think. When we change the way that we think, we change our outcomes. So until you start moving that way, you are anti-reparations and pro-individual. Peace.